What is Ethereum? Why is it important? That's what we're discussing in today's video. So right off the bat, you have to understand this is a software platform in the blockchain space. So what is this contrasted with the main software platforms that you see in the legacy system? We'll kind of contrast this with blockchain and with software. So the normal software platforms that you're seeing are really centralized. So they're holding the user's data, and anything that's really free for the mass public to use, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Amazon, Netflix, so many things out there, TikTok, so many things out there. Really, you're the product when you're using these because it's centralized. And how do these people make money? How do they make money if it's free? Well, they sell your data to advertisers. And this is the issue here. The blockchain space is really taking back your rights to data. There's a beautiful browser actually in the blockchain space that's constantly being used. There's some different innovations on social media sites. For example, Odyssey Library is kind of hoping to replace some of YouTube's standards. There's different ones kind of trying to replace Instagram, some of these, but essentially Brave browser is kind of like Google's browser, but you get paid when you see advertisements. So this is the beauty of blockchain, is you own your data. No centralized authority gets this. So when you go from blockchain to kind of these centralized platforms, those are the two differences. You have things that are held behind closed doors, like your data. You don't have rights to your data. They own it. When you hit I acknowledge those terms of agreements, you're signing over all your data. And it may not seem like a lot, especially didn't seem like a lot when these platforms first rolled out. But we're starting to see this is one of the most valuable commodities that you can't touch, you can't feel. It's in the cloud. So when you look at blockchain versus just traditional systems in general, let's break this down. So blockchain is a transparent open source ledger, full decentralizations. So what this means is basically nobody owns it. There's no one single authority. Now contrast this to, let's just say, the government, okay? So really take any government. Any government with taxes. There are some governments that, some lesser known kind of Cayman Island style governments where there's not very many taxes, but that's for another video. Let's take the US government. So does the US government have an open source ledger that tells you exactly where your tax dollars are going, where your hard-earned income, they take that percentage up there, FICA is stealing my paycheck, do they tell you exactly where those things are going? Are those going in a politician's pocket, or are those going to the roads, to the schools, to the fire department, to the police department? Where are those dollars going? You tell me. Well, you can't, because there's no open source ledger. Now, this is the beauty of the blockchain space and the beauty of something like Ethereum, because you get to see exactly how everything goes. In this space, a common phrase used that I absolutely love is don't trust, but verify. So things are verifiable on the blockchain, and this is really where it comes down to, so I hope you kind of understand the basics. Again, this video is just kind of why is it important and really what is it. So when you're looking at this is just really the ground level. So this is kind of the foundation of what it is Ethereum. It's built on the blockchain. So another very popular currency in the blockchain space, obviously the number one is Bitcoin. Now, this is kind of like the store of value. So this is a less programmable blockchain. There are certain things you can do with Bitcoin. And actually, Vitalik Buterin, the guy who created Ethereum, one of many, but he's a young kid. And when he created this, he came up with the idea in 2015. He came up with the idea in 2013, it launched in 2015, and with this, he actually wanted to build it on Bitcoin. Bitcoin has certain restrictions, essentially. It's not as flexible, it's not as movable and scalable as something like Ethereum. Now, we will talk about Ethereum 2.0 and how currently there are some scalability issues, but just to kind of understand this basic framework, is Bitcoin's kind of the store of value, this kind of digital gold a lot of people refer to it as. And if you're kind of thinking about this from, okay, if Bitcoin's digital gold, how can I compare this into something that you know? Well, digital oil is kind of how I think about it and how a lot of people think about it. I really like this analogy. So really what this means is it can power different chains. So you can't use your lawnmower without oil. You can't use most, combustion engine cars without oil. You can't use a lot of things without oil, right? So essentially what Ethereum does currently is it's a proof of work model. And since it's a software application, different applications can be built on top of this with their native programming language Solidity. So these are called dApps, or decentralized applications. In the space, people refer to them as dApps. But if you hear that term, essentially what they're talking about is decentralized applications. So think about that analogy I was using with, Google, who's selling your data because it's a free platform to advertisers, so they can send you different kind of customizable ads based on your age, your location, your interest, all these different data points. Same with Facebook. And move over to Brave browser, where you're getting paid for your data. You still can opt in to see advertisements and you're getting paid for them, but you own your data. There's no centralized organization that's doing this. It's fully decentralized. And Brave is actually built on Ethereum. And with this, you have ERC-20 tokens. So ERC-20 is basically a standard for all tokens on the Ethereum network. So basic attention token, which the Brave browser uses, you get paid in this when you see advertisements. So literally, if you go and download Brave browser, it's so quick, it's so easy, and it's really nice because this is one altcoin that's actually followed through with what they're doing and has a perfect product in my opinion. I mean, there's obviously always improvements you can do, but it's rolled out, it's great. I personally use it. Basic attention tokens, incredible. You can tip people with this. You can tip people on Twitter. You can tip people, really anywhere on the internet, anywhere that you use, like creators. And it just creates for an incredible network. And essentially, so the ERC-20, I won't dive too into this, but it's basically the standard for all tokens on the Ethereum network. And now we'll kind of go back to this digital oil situation. So how Ethereum works is, since it's this platform, you have different applications being built on these different dApps, and you have different layers in this. These different applications essentially are built using the Ether token. So this is, it's not, some people refer to it as a currency. This is a bit more controversial. I won't get into the weeds here. I'll try and remove biases. But basically, things are built using this Ether token. So there's the Ethereum network, and then there's Ether. And a lot of people get these mixed up and confused as the same thing. They're not really the same thing. So Ether is what's ETH, ticker symbol, is what a lot of people buy in and think is going to go up. But you have to kind of differentiate this with the Ethereum network. The Ethereum network, again, you just want to think about this in basic terms. We can do an advanced video if you guys want. Let me know in the comments if you want to see an advanced video on Ethereum. This is truly just to introduce people to Ethereum. So if you're someone who's been in the crypto space programming Ethereum, this may be a little too bit of a basic video for you. But if you're new to the crypto space, apologies. A little bit of green tea there. If you're new to the crypto space, this video is probably good for you. So you have this platform, and then you have the Ether tokens. This is kind of like the oil that kind of smooths the gears, gets things going in this Ethereum platform. So it helps you build these different applications. And to use these different applications, for example, Uniswap is a massive application on the Ethereum network. But people are complaining about these gas fees. And these gas fees haven't gotten so high. If you use these, when I first started using Ethereum back in, I think it was like what? I was still a little bit late to the party about August because I was able to qualify for the airdrop. The airdrop was in September. I was in Belgrade, Serbia. And if you just used Uniswap one time on the Ethereum network, that airdrop, if you hold those Uni tokens today, is worth $10,000, around there, $10,000. At the time, it was worth about $1,200, but I digress. Anyways, so this is an example of a platform where you have to pay the fees. And the reason a lot of people call this kind of digital oil is because they're referred to as gas fees. So Gwei, which is Gwei, is essentially a way to break down these Ethereum fees, because it's very, very hard since these cryptocurrencies are constantly fluctuating. You wake up one day, Ethereum's at $1,000, you wake up the next day, now it's $2,000. So these things are very volatile, and especially the lower cap coins. But if you're looking at Ethereum and you're going, okay, I'm going to constantly be trading this on Uniswap, trading in and out of coins, how do I calculate the fees? Well, if you see 0.0001 or 0.0003, it's hard to calculate this all in your head. So a better way of doing this is with Gwei, and that's essentially the decimal point. So just like you break the US dollar into pennies, into dimes, into nickels, just like with Bitcoin, it's Satoshis. It's breaking things down in kind of the smallest amount. So Gwei is a great way to calculate fees, essentially. And there are other things like the Chi gas token. I actually have a video on a Uniswap tutorial where I break down, 3 ways to lower gas fees, talking about there's certain times in the Ethereum network where it's slower, or it's not being used as much, so it kind of slows down these fees, and essentially you have lower fees there. And then if you're using different Ethereum platforms or dApps on different times where gas fees are very, very high, these are times where so many people are using the network that they have to push this up. So with blockchain, you really have 3 main things you have to understand: is decentralization, scalability, and really open source kind of privacy, I guess you could say. So with privacy, this is kind of the one thing that the Ethereum does very, very well, in my opinion, because they have great, the decentralization is incredible, the privacy is incredible, but the issue is kind of currently the scalability. And that's really where ETH 2.0 comes in, going from proof of work to proof of stake. If you don't understand that, go watch a video on that. Basically, to break it down, proof of work is what Bitcoin runs on, and Ethereum currently runs on, where you have to have actual physical computers running the Ethereum network through nodes. So essentially how this works is the blockchain ecosystem, since it's decentralized, you have all these different nodes, people basically operating mining computers from anywhere around the globe, contributing to the network. When they do this, they earn a block reward, and that's just very, very simple to explain. Obviously, you can go more in detail or less in detail, but I don't want to get too in the weeds with that. I have multiple videos on how these things work, but with this, moving from proof of work to proof of stake is very important because you have many things. You have the possibility of a 51% TAC with proof of work, and with proof of stake, it kind of lessens this amount. So proof of stake, essentially, you kind of remove this need for physical computers, and it's run by staking it. And this is really incredible. So anyways, let's go back to this, talking about digital oil, the gas fees, and how different applications work. So with things like Uniswap, with things like Augur, you have chain links built on ERC-20. All these different things are built on the EVMs, the Ethereum virtual machine. Basically, you have the ground layer, which is the proof of work current system. Then you have kind of the top, which is different applications built on this, built on Solidity. And this is where kind of the EVM comes in. And with this ETH 2.0, they're improving in all these different things. Their gas fees are going to be dramatically lower because you're moving proof of work to proof of stake. And it really will just improve that scalability factor. I have a video on the blockchain trilemma where I go into detail on kind of those three parts and how a lot of projects are really focused on improving this. So the part of the blockchain trilemma is each of these currencies has one of them that's kind of missing, or one of them that's kind of lagging. For example, XRP has been in the news a lot lately, especially as it's pumped, and their issue is they don't really have full decentralization. So they have actually pretty good scalability, they have decent security, but decentralization is not their strong suit, which is why a lot of people don't like them. And again, I'm going to try and remove biases here, but I would have to agree. Decentralization is one of the key components in the cryptocurrency space. So that's pretty much it for this video. I just really wanted to do an introduction into this. There's many other aspects of Ethereum, but I don't want to, give you a headache and confuse you too much as far as Ethereum goes. This is kind of like step one as far as understanding Ethereum. I highly recommend interacting with different products on Ethereum. Interact with Uniswap. Interact with things like Chainlink. Start understanding oracles. I have a video on Chainlink. What is Chainlink? Why is it important? Start interacting with kind of different applications on Ethereum. You can go to their website to see the top dApps. I will have that link down below in the description. I will also have the video on what is the blockchain trilemma and the Uniswap tutorial down below in the description. So go check those out. And what is proof of work versus proof of stake. So basically explaining that. Anyways, let me know in the comments any constructive criticism. This was, again, just meant to be kind of an introduction to Ethereum, why it's important, kind of separating Ethereum from ETH or Ether. So that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, button all, invest global, and until next time.